Greetings, sir. This is Asophix, bringing you some Stronghold Legends multiplayer action on the map Bottleneck. Out with a fellow rival, Lord Chris, who has big dice against my evil lord. Normally we play in the custom format of 15 minutes peacetime and rank 1 in order to skillfully build an economy and then clash our swords on the battlefield.
Granary stocks are very low, sire.
When we started playing in autumn 2024, we already went with the lowest settings, however with no peacetime. This resulted in our lords heading out to the neutral villages, conquering them very slowly. However, when both lords rode to the same estate, God help us all, was it a quick ending. Particularly with Arthur, you can easily kill the lord with your summons as you get mounted knights, enjoying a victory in 2 minutes. Fun times, right? Anyway, back to our current match. As you can see, all players have a large starting estate with plentiful stone, iron and pitch. There is a river cutting the map in half, with only one passageway through in the center. This is where attacks come from, and we both will need to wrestle for control, or your domain will become under siege, making the fight very difficult in the coming minutes. In rank 1 games, you barely start with any resources and buildings unlocked, so it is imperative to climb out of this hole as fast as possible. Here you can see that I built a wood camp before placing the stockpile and 2 farms. You may ask, how is this possible? Well, in Stronghold Legends, or in any Stronghold game as a matter of fact, you may place a woodcutter for free if you don't have any resources, and without the stockpile, you have none. This way you spare 20 valuable wood that can go straight into one farm. Next, notice how I am at rank 3 already 2 minutes in. This is possible because I collected enough honor from the granary. In Stronghold Legends, you get 2 honor for each additional food type beyond the first one, and it is doubled if you give double rations. This way you can get 8 honor per game month, or 12 if you play with Arthur, having all 4 food types in the granary. You will see me constantly doing this for the majority of the peacetime. You may have the question then, how do we build our domain? Well, there are many ways to do so. Personally, I like to buy as much wood as possible and invest in many buildings, particularly farms, to sell excess food for lots of gold. For that, I like to have -8 taxes and double rations so that popularity is not lost. This requires some juggling skills, as you need to constantly watch the granary and prevent it from emptying. The other way is to build lots of wood camps. Wood camps are very cheap for 20 wood and take 3 workers each. While this is very convenient, woodcutters take time to chop wood, log them and deliver them to the stockpile. As you build, however, you will need to build more expensive buildings such as stone quarries and iron mines, and so must more wood camps. The difference in the case of farms is that they produce you a lot of gold in tandem with taxes, which you can use for many things, including for buying wood. While we are touching this topic, I must also have a few words about the approach of my enemy, Lord Chris. He builds up in a more graceful way than me, preferring the pantry to gain honor next to the granary. As a result, he doesn't erect many farms and instead he builds way more woodcutters to provide wood, sacrificing some early game income in favor of consistency. He also builds royal food production very early on, aiming for a balanced feast diet. Trust me, you won't hear this from me from now on. Think of the pantry as a second granary system with its own production buildings. You can supply it with 3 types of royal food, or 4 in the case of Arthur, and you get a higher honor payout if you can supply 7 units by the time the green bar on the kitchen panel is full. That equates to 20 honor per cycle. You also get +1 honor for each additional type beyond the first one, equating to 23 honor in the case of Arthur or 22 in the case of the other factions. The catch here is that the granary gives you honor faster, in return it's easier to keep up production for the pantry. However, the granary buildings are far more lucrative and produce you more stuff for money. The next topic I'd like to touch yet is the layout of my food buildings. You can immediately discern how I built all of them in a line. In one game that I and Chris were having against a professional duo, Ulquiorra and the Lord, we learned how the farms were much more efficient instead of recklessly throwing them around. In Legends, all buildings have some tiles you can build buildings on, and the farm entrances are mostly designed so that workers can approach them from 1 or 2 sides only, facilitating the building of them in a line. The Apple Orchard in particular, however, has a weird footprint that doesn't always allow for good building placement though. I reserve this topic for the future. The next 7 to 8 minutes remaining from the peacetime is spent building up my economy, siting a lot of quarries and iron mines to build my castle. You will see how I sell iron for gold and use the collected honor to climb the ranks. Feel free to skip ahead to this point if you want some action after all this talking, will ya?
Can't place that there, my lord. An enemy lord has been promoted.
I promote thee.
Can't place that there, my lord. The land is too uneven to build here, my lord. Our granary stocks are growing, sire. An enemy lord has been promoted. Can't place that there, my lord.
I promote thee.
Our granary stocks are growing, sire. Food stocks are falling, my liege. Our granary stocks are growing, sire. I think I know the way. You can't do that, my lord. Your popularity is rising. You can't do that, my lord.
I promote thee.
Can't place that there, my lord. The land is too uneven to build here, my lord.
Now we arrive to the end of the peacetime when all hell breaks loose. You are finally allowed to build recruitment buildings and churn out troops like no tomorrow. On rank 8, I tagged up high enough to be able to recruit most of the barracks troops which we will rely on, given how the evil troops cost valuable honor to create. Not to mention, the Sorcerer's Tower also costs honor. With evil, this is all the honor income you can get, so it's very important to save up honor for a rank up or a special unit. Notice the stone circle in the middle passageway. Each player has a knight to conquer the circle immediately, which is very important to keep. Aside from the circle providing some minor honor income, you also get ownership for the middle area, allowing you to build siege camps to secure a forward position. Having a siege camp where your enemy can have none is a very big advantage. That's why I rushed a few macemen immediately over there, as our lone knight cannot hold on forever. I also claimed a village estate on the other side of my riverbank. While estates are not particularly important in this mission, they are free workforce that also provide honor and gold income along with a good of your choosing. I chose beer in this game because I will be running an inn and the ale consumption will also allow for higher taxes. Lord Chris was vigilant and he has retaken the stone circle, allowing to build his own siege camp shortly thereafter. He saw that I didn't have my troops near enough and I also lacked ranged units to repel them. I get the advantage now by having siege towers and a few archers on top already, so he can't contest me on my side of the river. At least for now. You have also noticed the siege towers on his side immediately built. With some tailwind, I erased the now not needed wood camps, I'm banking about 5 to 600 wood at this point, and turn a few additional peasants into archers. These fast units are really great at dealing consistent damage from the siege towers, and it would be a folly to miss out on them. I also have nice income from selling surplus iron and food, which I could turn into more siege towers and, more importantly, stake hullers. These rolling infernal machines are fed with good reason, and you will shortly see why. Lord Priest has already created a bunch of white wolves and squandered no time sending them out to destroy one engine sent forward. These beasts are one of the fastest units in the game, and they chew engines down into scraps fast. It is costly though in terms of honor at this stage to field so many of them, and my archers have no trouble picking off half of the attacking wolves. The Stakeholder is a fairly affordable siege engine that, as its name implies, has a bunch of stakes in an area. While the stakes have some spread, they are capable of knocking troops back, dealing reliable damage from afar. Group up a good 10 to 12 hurlers and you rain down up to 100 stakes, spelling doom for clumped up unit groups. Knockback in particular is dangerous because if a unit falls into water, trees or in a building, they die immediately. Now you see that Lord Chris has sent out mantlets, tiny wooden shields that can absorb projectiles in a small radius around them. This includes stakes too, so your units survive the hail of arrows. To his dismay, however, I have many more archers chipping the paint of the shields, requiring Chris to pay attention and reinforce his shields, or else his units start getting picked off. In the meantime, I got a tactical breather on the battlefield and I can focus on my economy. On rank 8, you unlock the air production chain, which will go a long way into providing additional tax income. With maximum air consumption, you get a whopping 8 bonus popularity, allowing maximum tax rates. With the buildings in place, my economy can be considered developed. As my troops are still pushing the loose enemy formation back, I decided to invest in the Sorcerer. The Sorcerer is Evil's special unit from the Sorcerer's Tower, which can conjure fire from his hands and send it in the form of a fireball. While this auto-attack is dangerous to friend or foe alike, his rare special ability called Meteor's Storm isn't. When activated, a marked area comes under barrage from infernal stones, dealing high damage in bursts. Since it's very hard to play against, you may also consider this ability the ultimate room cleaner.
My sword is yours.
You do not have enough gold to train this unit.
At this point I got a nice positional advantage and now push Lord Chris back to his entrance. You also see how he kept his crossbowman back and thus I sent the Sorcerer to punish it. He is just slightly late with his Ice Queen to arrive, but to his luck, she is able to survive the ability and she is pulled back to a more secure position along with his troops. Now what you are seeing from Chris is a defensive formation of the Ice Queen under the overprotection of mantlets. Since my Sorcerer's ability is on cooldown, Chris can use these guys to come up close to me and activate his freezing ability in return, potentially wiping out my army. As I see him building up, I decide to evacuate and split my forces, while the stakeholders furiously attempt to gun down the Ice Queen. The sacrifice of the Maceman buys me valuable time to reposition my troops, and I can save most of them after the Queen goes boom. As I see my strategy paying off, I get a little greedy and stand the Sorcerer in alone to burn the concentrated towers and shields. Sadly, the Sorcerer attacks slowly and Chris doesn't waste time to re-attempt to freeze. To my big deal of luck, all he manages to destroy is mostly mantlets and some towers.
Yes, sir.
Do not doubt my powers. Let's go. You have need of my sorcery.
We go to battle. Moving off.
Even though my Sorcerer is dead, so is the Ice Queen. I immediately resummon the Sorcerer and also create some demonic bats in an attempt to destroy the exposed siege engines. The bats fly so fast that they are almost guaranteed to reach their target, dive bombing into the ground and dealing great harm to the wooden constructions. It requires only a few bats to completely dismantle an area of shields. Since there weren't many targets, I opted to send the bats into the crossbowman group, with most of them flying into the gate and walls. The stakeholders also continue to dish out damage at an alarming rate.
Weapons needed, sire.
How are we gonna get there? Location noted. We march! My noble lord, what troubles you, sire? Setting off now. Walking off. Heading out. Departing. Our fates are entwined.
Now my siege line arrives at the doorstep of Lord Chris and the archers can start dishing pain to the enemy units. The ice player has not enough defenses in place to hold his position any longer, and thus my stakeholders can easily overpower him. What you see me doing is a kind of stutter step, which relies on animation cancelling the hurler's attack, bypassing the cooldown. This results in a nigh constant barrage of projectiles, making them deadly. I'm also recruiting a few crossbowmen to defend my estate, should Chris send in white witches to terrorize my peasants. As a somewhat unexpected tactic, Lord Chris had decided to bring in men-at-arms to throw spears at my exposed siege engines. Sadly, this did not work.
Just say the word.
In darkness I was born.
Heading off.
Just get us into battle. My powers are yours.
The Mace boys roll. Need some heads crushing. What's going down? Our boars shall sing.
Is there blood to be boiled?
Moving to sight.
No skill is greater than mine.
Engineers at your service.
Where's the fight?
We come in peace. Maces ready. Archers moving.
Weapons needed, sire.
As I was gathering more forces, the enemy player could muster now enough shields and the Ice Queen to try pushing another turtle formation forward. Thankfully, I already got up ladders on the walls, and using the barrack stairs, my macemen are just in time to intercept the Ice Queen, and Chris has no choice but to prematurely use the ability on the macemen. He has another trick up his sleeve though. See, he has now prepared a squad of white wolves as my stakeholders were left defenseless. Commendable notion, isn't it? What he did not take into account is that I still had leftover macemen scaling his walls, and the bunched up troops are worth a money shot for my stakeholders.
Heading out. We are prepared. You are my liege, Lord. History awaits us. We march! Departing. Bowman, make ready. Engineer detachment heading out. Yes, sir. Yes, sire. According to plan.
As you bid me, I flow over this land.
Our strings are waxed. The men are in good spirits. Heading off. Moving to sight.
I will serve you.
What's the plan? Fast as we can, sir.
Buildings are on fire, sire.
For the Lord below, someone will burn.
Just say the word.
My noble lord. Yes, sir. What's the plan? What troubles you, sire? Our tools are ready. This way! Let's ride! Ride on! Spur horses!
At this point I can now get reckless and risk my archers. As my sorcerer's ability is off cooldown, I can divert the enemy attention and strike when least expected. Grace cleverly retargeted the Ice Queen's auto attack so that more of my archers are frozen, however the bull has arrived in the china shop and the sorcerer could reap the benefits.
Breach, my lord.
Recruits needed, sire.
That'll take all day.
Advance!
As a cheeky move, the blue player decided to make use of the siege camp and create annoying catapults to inflict whatever damage he could to my ranks. He never lets up, does he?
As you bid
Got some trouble? We go to battle.
it. Yes, I go.
Your Highness! Just give us the target. Look sharp, lads. At your disposal.
Sir, I can't get there.
You are my liege, lord. Set us a task.
Not even the barracks stops producing units, eh? My sorcerer's auto attack deals friendly damage as well, so my troops end up being incinerated.
Do not doubt my powers. You have need of my sorcery.
Your Grace. Location noted.
I see my path.
Setting out. Attention! Battle order! Eager to work. Now that's impossible. Setting off now.
Who summons me?
History awaits us. Move your sunset dogs.
Sire! Bravo, sire! Where is my appointment?
My lord? Your mark, sire. Walking off. We march.
Move out! At the double!
My noble lord, heading out. Departing.
This is one of the traits of Lord Chris. He is very persistent and relentless. He ends up building multiple defense lines and he clings to them until his dying breath. Now you can see the shield and ice queen formation again, which is waiting for the deployment.
According to plan.
Sadly, nothing protects against bats.
Heading off.
Seeing how Lord Chris couldn't leverage his shield, he decided to cast another freeze. One quirk of the ability is that it deals damage only in the end of the cast if the queen is standing still. I made use of it by knocking her back with stakes, so only the freeze portion went off.
Heading out. Departing.
Weapons needed, sire.
What troubles you, sire? Our fates are entwined. Engineer detachment heading out. Woman, string up. We are your men. What? We're moving. Check those weapons. Lift those bows, you dogs. My sword is yours. Yes, sir. Crossbows, forward!
I walk in darkness.
I follow your banner. How can we help?
Jump to it! In darkness I was born.
Sir! Inaccessible, sire. Inaccessible, sire. According to plan. that's impossible. Heading off. Moving to site. Location noted. Setting off now. Just say the word.
My powers are yours.
We go to battle. Walking off.
Weapons needed, sire.
You are my liege lord.
I promote thee.
Not enough honor, my liege. At the gallop, history awaits us. Heading out. Departing. Engineer detachment heading out. We march.
As you bid me.
Shoulder weapons. My noble lord. What troubles you, sire? Your loyal archers. Our fates are entwined. My sword is yours. Yes, sir.
Weapons needed, sire.
Engineers at your service. I follow your banner. Just say the word. You need something? Ready, sir. We go to battle. According to plan. Heading off. Moving to site. Location noted. Setting off now. Walking off. Heading out. Departing. Engineer detachment heading out. You are my liege lord. Yes, sir. History awaits us. Let's ride. Yeah? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. What's the plan? We march! According to plan. Heading off.
Seeing another turtle formation building up, I decided to roll in the catapults and break the walls so that I have a clear shot against the Ice Queen and the shields.
Now that's
As the walls open up, the Ice Queen also has a line of sight against my troops. Sadly, she fires at the troops on the towers, which are immune to freeze while on top of the tower. She would have been much better targeting my other troops instead, potentially freezing them.
Recruits needed, sire.
how are we gonna get there? Smash them to bits!
Staying for such a long time under Ice Queen fire is potentially a blunder, because my siege towers can easily be destroyed only from a couple of attacks. Thankfully, it doesn't turn out this way.
Engineer detachment heading out. Yes, sir. According to plan. Our fates are entwined. My sword is yours. Smack 'em! The Mace boys roll! I follow your banner. Heading off. Need some heads crushing.
the fight?
Just say the word. We go to battle. Our tools are ready. For the Lord's honor!
A valiant last stand from Lord Chris, and GG well played. Thanks for watching. Look around for the maps link and other resources in the video description. And never forget, the kingdoms of Stronghold are at your service, sire.